be mindful of. I think we've all become familiar with the concept of identity theft, this notion that somebody can get certain identifiable information and use it to create fraudulent financial accounts and all the trouble that can cause. Anybody that's ever had to go down that road knows what a mess that is and what a difficult scenario that is to put things right after a criminal has taken advantage of you in that way. Well, unfortunately, we've seen the same thing happen with businesses. Business identity theft is on the rise, and it's something that we're working to help Ohio businesses combat. Now, a couple things that we're doing internally, just like your bank does, they learn to recognize fraudulent patterns of behavior and then work to mitigate that and notify the affected parties. We're working on doing that exact same thing with our office, with some vendors that we work with that can recognize when something's out of the ordinary. But also there's some responsibility that you all can take. As a business owner, make sure that you have an email address associated with your business entity. If you yourself own a business and control that and filed that with the Ohio Secretary of State's website, or if you are an attorney, for example, that maybe helps a number of clients with their business filings, make sure that every business entity that you're responsible for has an email address associated with it. Here's why. If somebody were to go online and change something about your business, the name, the statutory agent, the address. In the old way, we had to notify you via snail mail, and that takes a while, obviously, and maybe you would not notice the piece of mail that comes in, but now we're able to actually notify you electronically as well. So again, if you go to ohiosos.gov, go to that business portal, and make sure that you associate an email address with the business that you control. That would be a good step that you can take to protect yourself against business identity theft so that you can be empowered with the information you need to protect the integrity of your business. So again, we're going through economic challenges right now as a result of the pandemic and the economic turmoil that's come about as a result of it, but I see nothing but good news on the horizon. Ohioans are hardworking and entrepreneurial people that are going to find ways to create value in this economy, and that's exactly what Ohioans are doing, and we stand ready to continue supporting Ohioans as we build that thriving economy for every Ohioan in the state. Now, my role as the Chief Elections Officer for the state is probably the thing that most people are paying attention to right now. We know that early voting begins soon. In fact, on October 6th, Ohioans will begin early voting at their county boards of elections and early vote centers all throughout the state. That'll start at 8 a.m. on October 6th. But did you know that ballots are already going out for those overseas and military personnel, those men and women who are serving abroad or maybe doing business or studying abroad? They're already getting their ballots mailed to them by the boards of elections. So really, election season has begun. Now, here's what I want to highlight. People ask me all the time, what's going to happen with the election this November? I want to be 100% clear. The election this November is going to look a lot like the elections that you've grown accustomed to in the state of Ohio, and that's good news. Ohioans have three really good choices when it comes to how we vote. It's up to us to make a decision about which one of those choices works best for us, to make a plan, and then to make sure that our voice is heard. And so to go through those three choices, just to be 100% clear on what options you have, Ohioans have a month of absentee voting where you can vote from the comfort of home. You can request your absentee ballot by mail. You can mail back your ballot. It's a great way to go. There are important safeguards in place so that you know that you can trust it. Like, for example, did you know that when you request your absentee ballot, you can go to our website, voteohio.gov, and you can track that ballot just like you would track a package that you order online. You could track it to know when it's coming to your home, and then once you mail your ballot back, you can track it to make sure it's been received and is in the secure custody of your county board of elections. That's a safeguard that Ohioans have that many more people need to take advantage of. Voting absentee is a convenient way to vote that's been trusted by Ohioans for close to 20 years. It's nothing new. It's not something that we put in place in response to the pandemic. It's something that Ohioans have used for a long time. And so 4 weeks of absentee voting is a great option for how you can make your voice heard in a secure way from the comfort of home. If you want to vote in person, there's an opportunity for 4 weeks of early voting. And as I said, October 6th is when early voting begins in Ohio. You can go to your county board of elections during the convenient hours they have. They offer evening and weekend hours. We're one of very few states in the nation that offers over 200 hours of early voting. We're one of only 6 states in the entire country that has Sunday afternoon early voting, and one of only 20 states in the nation that makes early voting available on a weekend at all. And so if you like that in-person experience, take advantage of those 4 weeks of early voting that you have by going to your county board of elections, and you can look up the hours and locations for that again at voteohio.gov. If you want to wait until election day, let me be 100% clear about this. On November 3rd, The polls will open at 6:30 a.m. and they will close at 7:30 p.m. You'll be greeted by one of your neighbors that'll greet you with a smile, although you won't see them smiling because, of course, they'll be wearing a mask, and of course, you're expected to follow the statewide mask mandate when you come to vote as well. You'll have a healthy and convenient experience when you come to vote in person, and you'll be sent out the door with your I voted sticker with the confidence that your vote is going to be accurately tallied. And so again, those three choices that are available to every Ohioan: 4 weeks of absentee voting, 4 weeks of early voting, and safe and secure in-person election day voting. Really, there's no bad option among them. You just need to pick the one that works for you and make sure that your voice is heard. Now, a couple deadlines that I want you to be aware of. First, voter registration deadline. According to the Ohio Constitution, October 5th is the deadline to get registered to vote. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've probably been registered to vote your whole life. But if you haven't updated your address and maybe you've moved in the last couple of years, you may have an out-of-date address in the voter registration system. You can log on to voteohio.gov. It only takes a few minutes, and you can type in your name and county. You can look up your registration address, make sure everything is spelled right, make sure the address is in there correct. It's a small thing to do to make sure that you are ready to be a voter this fall. Also, if you've been registered to vote your whole life, maybe it's time to reach out to somebody else and remind them. Maybe it's a kid that you know from church. Maybe it's the kid that cuts your grass, or maybe it's one of your own children or grandchildren. Just think about young people in your life that may have turned 18 this year or within the last couple of years. Reach out to them and remind them that the voter registration deadline is October 5th. And the easiest way to do it is to go to voteohio.gov. All you need to have is your state ID or driver's license. There's even a video there that describes how to get registered to vote online. It only takes a few minutes, and it all happens at voteohio.gov. Now, one of the other deadlines that you need to be aware of is October 6th. As I said, that's the beginning of early voting. That's also when those absentee ballots start going out. So if you've requested your absentee ballot already, or if you do it within the next couple days, you will be in that first batch of ballots to go out October 6th. And so that's a great way to get ahead of things and really help the Board of Elections to get ahead as well. Over 1.4 million Ohioans have already requested their absentee ballots, so you'll be in good company if you request your ballot right now, and they'll go out on October 6th. Another deadline to be aware of is November 2nd. That's the postmark deadline. If you're going to mail in your ballot, it absolutely has to be in the mail by November 2nd. It has to be postmarked by November 2nd so that it can be received up to 10 days later by the Board of Elections. But don't wait. I would ask you to vote your absentee ballot as soon as you get it, because if everybody waits till the last minute, of course, it'll overwhelm our boards of elections, and they may not be able to keep up with the rush that they're getting at that time. So we really want everybody to request their absentee ballot early and to return their absentee ballot early as a way to make sure that this election is safe and secure and run efficiently by our county boards of elections. Of course, those are the deadlines to think about. Something else to think about. I told you that the polls will open at 6:30 on November 3rd, and they'll close at 7:30 that evening. Well, the only way that we can make that happen is if a large number of Ohioans sign up to be poll workers. Now, I'm happy to say that we've had over 40,000 Ohioans that have stepped up and answered this call to duty. We need more, and so please consider signing up to be a poll worker. It's an important civic duty. It's also a great learning experience as well. For example, 17-year-olds, having it listed on your college application that you served as a poll worker would be a great thing. Something else, you may find that your professional organization that you're a member of may be offering continuing education credits. We've already heard that lawyers can get continuing education credits, realtors can get continuing education credits, and so can CPAs, and there are more all the time that are joining us. And so please consider asking about that. And I'd also ask you to consider giving your employees a day off. We call this giving a day for democracy. If you give them a day off to sign up to be a poll worker, I think you would find that it is a rewarding experience for them. And of course, you're doing a great service to make sure that we can run a fair and an honest election, even amidst the challenges that we face. And so please consider signing up to be a poll worker. All of that can be done at voteohio.gov. Again, that's the one-stop shop for all of your elections-related information. When you go to voteohio.gov and sign up to be a poll worker, you're going to get a call, hopefully just a few days later. I've told the boards of elections to not let a week go by before they get back to you. They'll contact you. They'll schedule you for training. There's about 3 hours of training that you need to complete. You'll be paid for your training. And then they'll also assign you to a polling location in your county so that you can be there to open the polls at 6:30 a.m. and make sure that your neighbors have a good voting experience. Again, a lot of good choices here in Ohio. Just choose the one that works for you and make sure your voice is heard. I also want to give a shout out to Lori Baldridge, who's our regional liaison. I can't be everywhere at once, and certainly your part of the state is important to me. I love coming to Southern Ohio, but when I'm not there, Lori's there to represent me, and so please talk to Lori Baldridge. She is a great member of our team and is there to serve all of you, so please don't hesitate to reach out to Lori Baldridge. Let me leave you with this. We've run elections throughout challenging times in our state's history before. We face a challenging time right now. When the people of Ohio have the chance between October 6th and November 3rd to make their voice heard, they're going to do so in record numbers. Record number of people are going to sign up to be poll workers. Record numbers of people are going to take advantage of absentee and early voting. And what we're going to have is a truly fair and free election here in the Buckeye State, despite the challenges that we face. That's my mission as your Secretary of State. That's my obligation to all of you, and that's exactly what we're going to deliver. And once the results are tabulated and the final certified results of the election are reported, the people of Ohio will be able to know and trust that there was an honest contest that truly reflected the will of the people. Again, this is the important mission that we have. I have a team here at my office that shares that commitment, and I know that our bipartisan county boards of elections, including your Lawrence County Board of Elections, shares that commitment. These people come to work every day as a bipartisan team to do this really important work, and they do it very well. And so thank you for supporting them any way that you can. Again, Election Day is November 3rd, 4 weeks of opportunities before that. Make sure that your voice is heard.